disc golf is one of those sports that is picked up. Our main focus is on ultimate. The sport of ultimate is a 7-on-7 sport played on a field that's about the size of a soccer field. So, okay, so I will share my screen here. So at Global Sports Partners, we focus on transforming lives through sport. And so as I talk about sports careers today, I thought it'd be helpful to share a little of how I got into sports and what different experience I have, and then share what other opportunities are out there, and allow you all to also ask questions about technology in sport, futures in sport, getting funding to study possible sports management courses. So just a little background, Global Sports Partners is a sport consulting company that operates all across the world. So we have reps in the Americas, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. And we've been operating for over 25 years. Now, our operations in Malaysia started in 1998, and we got involved with the Ultimate Frisbee in 2003, launching that sport here in Malaysia. So our business definition at GSP is we believe that everyone should have a positive experience in sport. Our sport programs and professional trainings focus on the whole person. They give our clients both the skills and the confidence they need for sport and life. We focus on 3 areas when we're talking to our clients. What we do, we call them our IP statements. We want to help people improve their performance. We want to help sports increase their participation. And while we're doing sports, we want to inspire purpose in the individual, not just looking at them getting better at the sport, but that they're a better person and they're able to be a better member of the community. These are just a few of the different Olympic committees that Global Sports Partners have been able to partner with over the years. Here are some of our other clients in countries across the world. And a lot of times we're dealing at the high level, working with associations and federations of the sport. And so here in Malaysia, since the sport our core focus is Ultimate Frisbee, our main partner is the Malaysian Flying Disc Association, but also we work with the secondary schools, the primary schools, through the Ministry of Education here in Malaysia, of helping them use sport with their students, so training up coaches. But a little bit about myself, wanted to just share these photos. I grew up in a family that enjoyed sports. You see a picture of me with my dad there, supporting our Kentucky gear. This was a sporting event. I drove my dad about 6 hours from where we were living, took him to watch our favorite team play in a big event, and so my dad was my mentor, my coach growing up. One of the pictures there was when I was probably 14 years old, 13 or 14 year old. In that one picture, my dad was my coach. That's in American football. And then just 2 years ago, this picture in the middle at the bottom is where my hometown honored my father by naming the football field, the American football field, after him. And as he coached over 40 years in that sport of American football in my home community. And then the picture on the left of the screen is my mom and dad with my 2 children. This picture was probably about eight years ago, so my children have definitely grown. My daughter now being 13 years old and my son 9. So sports was a big part of my background. And even when I went into university, I was trying to decide what career or what area of focus I wanted to study. And I narrowed it down to architecture, so being an architect, or focusing in sport management. And so when I was looking at schools, this was the internet was still young, so this was 25 years ago. There wasn't a lot of resources online to explore universities and what they had to offer. And so a lot was through catalogs and looking at magazines to do my research. And I found out that if I wanted to study architecture, I couldn't also do sports in college. And so maybe that was God's way of saying, okay, whatever my passion was, I was passionate about wanting to study that degree, but also wanting to play at the same time. And so that led me to a university that offered both, where I could play American football and also study a degree in sport management. So that picture is when I was 19 years old for the American football team I played for. But soon after that, the passion to play collegiate sports was not there anymore. And so I decided to actually stop playing as a full-time commitment, moving more to the recreational area. And so I actually transferred universities during that time. And that following summer, I found myself in Australia. That picture at the bottom is the year 2000. Something special was going on in Sydney the year 2000, which was the Olympics. And so I ended up coaching some youth camps around the Olympics as an opportunity through a volunteer thing with my university. And so if I would have continued the route of playing collegiate sports, that opportunity probably wouldn't have opened up, and who knows what would have happened. But I'm thankful for that decision. And then a neat story. So this was my undergraduate, I studied sport management. And when I finished that degree, I did an internship at my university in their athletic department, wanting to learn more about getting experience of what it means to work in sports. Not just playing sports, but what's the business side of it, or what's the physical side of it. And so I took those next 6 months of working at my university to learn from those that have been in the business for a while at the university level. And at the same time, I was exploring graduate opportunities. Where would I study I wanted to study sport administration. I didn't want to stay at the same school with the same professors. I wanted to have new professors. And so I found out about a program at the University of Louisville, which is in Kentucky in the USA. But they were offering to teach this program in Athens, Greece. And this was the same timing as the Olympics were going to be held in Athens in 2004. So I registered for the program. I got accepted into the program. I had to apply for I applied for scholarship funding to be able to study there in Greece through the university. The university would send a professor once a month to Athens. I would study under them along with mainly other Greek students. So people living there in Greece that were going to be in the program. And about a month before I was to head to Greece, they canceled the program. There wasn't enough local students. And so I ended up having what I had in mind didn't happen, but it was a blessing in disguise, because the funding that I received to study in Greece was still allowed to be used in Kentucky. And so all of my graduate schooling was covered because of the scholarships I received through the same university, but just a different campus. And so for the next 18 months, I studied there in Kentucky for my graduate degree. And part of that program allowed me to do an internship where I took 2 months of those 18 months and actually did go to Greece and volunteered with the Olympics to gain more experience around international sports. Then after I finished that degree, I was 6 months without a job. I was working odds and ends, but I had my application out at many places, looking either at university level, looking at communities that maybe have sports facilities, just anything that was related to sports. I was sending my resume out, sending out applications to just try to get an interview. And actually, I did have an interview, but it was an option that I wasn't excited about. Really didn't have peace about it. And so a couple days later, I received an email from my university advisor. So one of my professors from my undergrad had sent me an email about a job that I may be interested in. And I reached out about that job, applied for that one, interviewed for that one. And a few weeks later, my wife and I were moving to start a new job. And so I was a community sports director for the next 3 years, involved with sports of all ages, organizing different tournaments and managing a facility that had a community coming in to learn different sports or grow in those sports. And then my first job overseas, after I left that job, I did a 2-year contract in Indonesia, working as an English and sports instructor. And that was a great experience for my wife and I. Actually, our daughter was born while in Indonesia while we were there. And then we returned to the U.S., where I was once again a community sports director, but in a different location, and did that for the next 5 years before I ended up moving to Malaysia. And the first 3 years, when I joined Global Sports Partners, I was working as a regional catalyst, working under our general manager at the time. And then 2 years ago, he began training me to step into his position as he was planning to retire. And now I lead our team. We're a small team of 5 people, and just have a lot of different responsibilities in the admin area. But we have a service side and we have a product side. And so as we sell a product, we want that demand to increase. And so we do that through offering services of offering clinics, offering training sessions, helping organize tournaments to create a higher demand to sell the product that we manufacture. And you see 2 pictures of the same stadium. This is the stadium of the city where I live in, here in Johor, Malaysia. And I think you can recognize that it's a lot of money is being spent to not only build this, but to keep it operational. 40,000 fans can come to this soccer stadium and support their team. They're actually playing in about 7 hours. They'll be playing a match tonight. And this is not even a big stadium. This one holds 40,000 people, 40,000 spectators. And of course, a stadium like this, you have lots of jobs. You have people that are providing security. You have people serving food. You have people making sure that it's clean. You have people making sure that as people come in, that their tickets are getting scanned. You have coaches. You have the players that are actually playing. Many roles involved in sport, and we'll see that in upcoming slides. But does anybody know the largest stadium in the world right now? Take a guess of where it is and how large it is. Anybody? I was surprised when I learned the 2 largest stadiums in the world. So the largest stadium is located in India. It's actually a cricket stadium. It'll hold 135,000 people. The second largest is in North Korea. Their youth stadium, which was built in, I believe, the 90s. So it's not even a new stadium. It will seat around 115,000 people. And then stadiums 3 through 8 are all located in the U.S. Those are college or university stadiums for their American football teams. So as it was already mentioned, our company helps manufacture Ultimate Disc. Ours is called the MyDisc, My short for Malaysia abbreviation. And we have a MyDisc trainer and a tournament disc. And here's just a few more samples of some of the discs that we manufacture. Earlier this year, this disc was certified by the USA Ultimate and the World Flying Disc Federation, which allows us to be the only certified disc here in Southeast Asia. So what does it mean to work in the sport industry? Well, definition by IGI Global is the sports industry is a market in which people, activities, businesses, and organizations involved in producing, facilitating, promoting, or organizing any activity, experience, or business enterprise focused on sport. So as you're considering different fields of study of how you could get into a sports career, a lot of my courses were focused in the business department. And so though my actual degree was a sports management degree, if you're pursuing a business management degree, you would have a lot of the same courses that I had, management courses, marketing courses, economic courses. When I was in my graduate program, I had other classmates that had studied other areas in their undergrad. Some came from education areas, some were studying law, some were studying human physical performance and recreation, others public administration, sociology, psychology, communication, broadcasting. And so there are different disciplines involved in the sport industry. And so there's just not, if you study one degree doesn't mean you're locked in. You can gain a lot of wealth and information from a mixture of these different programs. I think one thing that is good to cover is also what are the different jobs out there. And so I've broken these down in 4 different areas. If you think about the business side, you could be an athletic director, and that's usually working at a college, university. Some secondary schools would have that, and so they're directing all the sports that take place at that location. An athletic scout is one that's going out there trying to find the best athletes for that sport. Contract negotiator is working out contracts. And so here's some, just other things. Manager, general manager, like the position I'm in. A facility operations manager, of overseeing a stadium, of knowing everything that has to go on in that. And so these are just different areas of in business side of it. There's also the actual individual or team side in sports. And so you have a coach, you have his assistant coaches, you have the professional athletes that are being coached, you have referees and officials, you have sports statistician, analysts. Analytics is the huge trend right now of someone can go in and watch film and analyze the statistics of, okay, say in basketball, when I'm guarding this person, 80% of the time they're going to dribble to the right, 20% they're dribbling to the left. And so it helps a coach understand how to coach his team based on analytics. And this is a big trend going on as technology advances. There are actually new roles and new jobs in sports. There's the sport health and physical science area, where you're an athletic trainer. You're actually there whenever there's a sport injury. You're going out there and helping care for the athlete. And you can see all these other ones involved with the actual physical nature of the athlete, or helping athletes become their best on their physical side and their mental side. There's a sports psychologist, friend of mine that lives here in Malaysia, and he goes and trains the different national teams in their mindset, their mental capacity of making sure they're focused and have the best, they're prepared for their competition, whether they're an individual sport or team sport. And then we also have sports media sector. And so these are your those that are handling the social media for the team or the organization. You have a sports anchor, a broadcaster, an editor, a photographer, a writer. And then you have all these behind the scene roles of people you don't even see up front that are making sure, like when a sporting event is put on TV, there's a lot of people making sure that everything goes right for that to happen. So what do sports look like in the days ahead? What are some trends? And I'm going to send you all a couple links that will allow you to see more trends going on in the sport industry. I'll send those after I finish here. But esports is becoming very popular across the world. I was just on Instagram a few minutes ago, and an esport event came across that's taking place about 2 kilometers from where I live here in a few weeks. So if you're not familiar, esports is online gaming, doing sports through a video console or online streaming service where there's huge competitions between other people at the same time. Individual sports are also growing, and I contribute this to the COVID-19 lockdowns. And when things began to lift, when people were able to go and do stuff by social distancing, sports like that, maybe people were previously involved in team sports, they made a shift and got involved in individual sports and things like rock climbing, disc golf, cycling, running, triathlons. Another trend to be aware of is gender identity and how that's impacting sports. We're seeing this a lot back in my home country in America, where men are wanting to identify as women and play in a women's sport. And so that is raising concern. And so different leaders are having to decide how they're going to handle that. Also, let me go back. Some other trends that we're seeing is that amateur players are beginning to get paid at the college level in the U.S., and so that's impacting how are they still a student, or how much time are they spending on their academics versus their competition in sports. And also we continue to see that professional athletes' salary contracts are continuing to increase rapidly. And so as those things increase, ticket prices have to increase. The organizations have to be able to get more money in to pay their athletes. And so that's more advertising, more TV contracts. There's in-game experiences that they're trying to provide. And then another trend that's related to this is also fan experience. How can we get a fan involved when they're at a game or when they're at home? Are we going to have them connecting through Instagram, through Twitter, or through X now, I guess, or other ways to enhance the experience of the sport for everybody involved? Sports and technology, just a few things. So the top 3 trends right now are all technology based. What I already mentioned, esports, also virtual reality and augmented reality, of how that's being involved in people experiencing sporting events or experiencing participating in individual sports in a VR kind of way, which I don't have a lot of experience in. I do know that some of my friends are doing virtual reality golf, and so instead of going to the actual golf course, they're playing on a with a VR headset or at a facility indoors. And then athlete performance tracking. So athletes are able to wear different sensors and things on their body, and as they're training, their doctors or their athletic trainers are able to monitor their heart rate, their muscle tension, different things related to the health of their body, and they're analyzing these things to try to push the athlete, but also make sure it's a healthy push. And so know that things are always changing. So whatever career you're in, things are going to change. And was listening to something a few days ago, and it said all living things change. And then he joked, if you don't want to change, then go to a cemetery, because nothing's going to change there except all you may see is decay. So you need to embrace change. You need to understand what's going on around you, and see how you can adjust to embrace that change. And then funding options for students as you're looking at maybe a career in sports. My suggestion for you would be to seek out internship opportunities. Some of these may be paid, hopefully. Some of them may not. Some may have to be a volunteer basis at first. But it could turn into a potential part-time job, full-time job. And it also, internships give you an opportunity to understand what you really like. What do you enjoy doing? If you get into an internship that's related to what you're studying and it's just not working out for you, then that helps you understand maybe what you're really passionate about, or where your giftings are. You could also try to volunteer at a sports event. Maybe your community's doing something, and you can step in and offer your time or service. And it just gives you extra knowledge of what it takes to put on an event, and it will help you prepare, not only be able to apply things to your studies, but once you're in a job, being able to use what you've already experienced. And then Google is a great resource. I wish I would have had Google. I don't know how many years old it is now, but I think our search engine was Yahoo or something. And but there are scholarship opportunities out there. I'll post a few things in the chat box here in a little bit of things that I've just come across but type in scholarship opportunities in the sports sector, or international student wanting to study sports, things like that, and see what's out there. So that's what I've prepared. Open to questions, and like I said, I'm going to be sharing more information here in the chat after we finish our question time.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I want to believe that everyone on the call is learned something, whether new or reminded of old things that they've known.